Slow Ready podcast, a casual drive into the music and culture of Goose. I'm Alex.
And I'm Mike.
And we are back with our good friend Nolan from the Corner of Gray Street podcast to discuss some Viva el Gonzo, baby. Nolan, how you doing, man?
I'm great. I'm a little sad to be back in the States, but wish I was still in Cabo, soaking up the sun and the good vibes. But it's I'm tired. I'm tired too. So it's good to be back. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, and we were like rushing you on just as you get back, so I'm sure it's just like we're really grateful for you to be having your recovery with us versus, laying on the couch and, actually relaxing.
Oh, of course, this is good. So I won't. It's fresh. I won't forget as much since we're doing it now.
Awesome. So we'll dive into Viva el Gonzo in a sec, but of course we got to get through some housekeeping first. So, you know it. We always say it. Follow us on the socials at Slow Ready Pod. Everywhere you're at, we're there. We were hounding all of the boards and all of the social feeds to try to find Viva el Gonzo stuff for you while we were sitting at home. And that's the best place to keep up with all the news and notes that we come across. And next up, we'll get into the actual news and notes since our last episode in our segment we call Hot Tea. So it's been a very long feeling 2 weeks since our last episode, and a lot has happened since then. I guess we'll start off with Goose announcing their fall tour dates, at least the first round of them. Starting off with a gig in Iowa City on August 28th, and then the Madison, Wisconsin gig we knew about with Mount Joy on the 17th of September. Then another gig in Sterling Heights, Michigan on the 19th of September. Chicago at Northerly Island on the 20th. And then a 2-night stand in Louisville, Kentucky on September 23rd and 24th. Followed up a couple days later with a gig in Alpharetta, Georgia on the 26th. And then a gig in Charlotte, North Carolina on the 27th. I'm sure you North Carolina boys will be there. And then the last gig we know about is on the 30th in Columbus, Ohio, with 3 cryptic TBA dates on October 2nd through October 4th listed. So any thoughts on this short run we know about so far in the fall, guys?
It's a really cool run. I think that we've got a lot more dates behind these for sure. I'll definitely be at Alpharetta and Charlotte. And it's interesting, the TBA dates, because I've seen rumors ranging from everything to the Man to festivals to you name it. So definitely feel like there's a lot more behind these.
Yeah, 3-night stand is intriguing. I don't know if I can do another 3-night stand anytime soon, but yeah, that looks good. I'm looking forward to Charlotte. It's cool they're playing in the big amphitheater. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, used to seeing Dave there, and now Goose is doing it. So yeah, hopefully that works out.
Are you used to seeing Dave there lately? Because he hasn't been there in a while.
Well, I guess I'm used to seeing him there my whole life, except the last couple years.
I kid. It is pretty incredible how big of venues they're moving on up to, especially in cities outside of their normal bubbles. So awesome to see that, guys. Next up, EMG was dropped, of course, and we covered that. But shortly after we recorded that episode, they dropped some voice notes on SoundCloud talking through some of the songs on the album and getting some nice tidbits from either Rick or Peter about how the recording process, the songwriting process happened, or the meaning behind the songs. They're really short minute snippets on songs like Silver Rising and Red Bird and Dustin Hoffman. Well worth a listen if you want to geek out like we do. So just wanted to shout that out. Y'all get a chance to listen to those?
I definitely did, and I feel like that Rolling Stone writer should listen to the Silver Rising voice notes like as soon as he hears this.
Oh, you gotta get your shot in.
Love it. The Dustin Hoffman one I thought was cool. That it was, what was it, Mumbles? They called it Mumbles, and then that was Dustin Hoffman's character in Dick Tracy. Is that right?
Yep.
Am I remembering that right? That's cool.
Yep.
Love Dustin Hoffman, so there you go.
And we'll talk more Dustin Hoffman later, I'm sure. Next up, we got the All Good Now Festival and Mountain Jam Festival schedules, and just confirmed that Goose is playing 3 hours on the headlining night for both of those. Nothing too crazy, but both gigs getting 2 sets in a full 3 hours is nice. And then 2 last notes. The Wi-Fi checks out for the summer tour. We all saw that coming, but very grateful that we get such great access to Goose's shows. And during Viva el Gonzo, I didn't realize this until today, but the folks at the festival didn't really get the news like we did at home. But Goose is doing an ice cream flavor through Jenny's Ice Cream that's coming out. And there's like a QR code that popped up on the stream for you to like get in line for when they announce the flavor officially in your market and stuff, called Goose Tracks. And it's blackberry and raspberry ice cream with bittersweet chocolate chips. Sounds pretty good.
All right.
Yeah. They were handing out stickers apparently the last night of Viva el Gonzo, but like when I was talking to some folks, were like, what? I never heard about this at the festival. So
news to me. That's awesome though.
They were airing it on the stream like every 2 minutes, Alex. Was it like probably accurate?
Well, during set break, it was like up on the screen with the QR code every few minutes. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
And I was just like, oh yeah, everyone at the festival probably like got like 4 free pints of it by now. Like I didn't know that you guys didn't know.
That sounds good. Didn't the DMB flavor, the Magic Brownies, had raspberry in it too?
I never got to try that, so I don't know.
Oh man, worlds are colliding once again.
Jenny's greater than Ben and Jerry's, though. I'll die on that.
I will say that.
So,
no comment.
A little fun news and notes there, but let's get into the main flow down that we all want to discuss here. Viva el Gonzo. Nolan, we need you to set the scene, man. So you flew in on Wednesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Night before. Did you go to any Night Zero events? Did you go to the welcome party? Talk us through your arrival, just how things went there.
No, we ended up doing an Airbnb close by just for the night. So it was pretty nice. Punta Nima. Really cool condos with a big, massive rooftop pool and view over like all of Cabo.
Nice.
So that was nice. I think if I had to do it again, I might just do the extra night at the resort, get the all inclusive. But we did go to a phenomenal dinner Wednesday night. It was like on a farm, like kind of up in the mountains.
Oh, snap.
Maybe the coolest place I've ever had dinner. I'm blanking on the name of it. Maybe it was Flora, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, great vibes. Really cool, like compound. They had like shops and just all the food there was awesome. So yeah, that was kind of our Wednesday. It was kind of get prepared for the week and settle in.
Nice. Yeah. Good to keep it low key before going hard the next few days, I'm sure. But
yeah.
That welcome party looked like people were going hard early because it was like a DJ and like crazy cocktails flying around. We were like watching all the pictures online and we were like, shit, we already have FOMO and it's not even night one yet.
I know, right? I think Alex Bailey from Eggy was the one DJing.
That's what I saw, but I wasn't sure if that was night zero or before night one from what I could tell, but that's good to know.
Yeah, night zero. Yeah. That was,
Nice.
I think a few people I ran into were there and said it was awesome. Great time to get things started.
Oh, sweet. All right. So you relaxed night zero, got a good dinner. Pre-show of night one. It's Thursday morning. What were you doing? What was the process of like getting ready for the festival, getting to the festival? Can you walk us through what it was like for the folks who weren't there, or like how easy it was to get there, how hard it was to get there, whatever?
Yeah, we packed up at the Airbnb and called an Uber over to Secret. So that's where we stayed, one of the Hyatt hotels there. And I'll say Uber there, so easy, even easier than it is here. We were like kind of worried about the whole like, oh, we got to catch all the shuttles and look at the shuttle schedule and all that. Uber, so easy. So easy. So we got there, checked in. All the rooms were ready at 3:00. So we were there at like 12. So we just threw on some bathing suits, went down to the pool, kind of checked our luggage with the front desk, and just vibing at the pool all day.
Nice.
We did that pretty much every day. I mean, you get all inclusive drinks and food, and yeah, great setup there. Swim up pool bar. It's tough to beat.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really interesting to like hear your experience and like everyone else we've talked to so far, because the cool part about this festival is like you could stay anywhere you wanted and everyone had such different but amazing experiences. Like it was like build your own
Mhm.
festival adventure.
Yeah.
It sounds like an amazing resort there, and all the pictures were like once again FOMO inducing. Like these are the prettiest cocktails I've ever seen in my life. Where the hell do I get someone to make me a drink out of a pineapple? Like all that shit was running through my head. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
sounds great. And so, what time did you wind up crawling over to the festival?
All right, let's see. Let me pull up the lineup here. For night one, we just got there. We got the last shuttle. So last shuttle left at 7. Um, so we hopped on that. Took 10 to 15 minutes to go there, to the venue, and then this is the part where like when they drop you off, it's just like a big giant dirt parking lot, and the whole area was like very spread out. But you
Okay.
walk in and it's just like I need to know what it is outside of Gonzo, like what it's used for, because the place was amazing. Like it was the coolest venue I've ever been to. Um, you walk in and I mean it's hard to describe. There's just like pathway through like um, sugarcane fields with lights lining it, all kinds of like glow in the dark projections, and just a lot of like cool art design on the way in. Kind of trippy, cool vibe. Some of like the animals that look like from like Coco, the dog that's what's the dog's name in Coco? I forget. I
I
forget.
forget.
But that
It's been a
when they
long time.
yeah. No, it was really cool. And there are bars like set up on the way in. Then you go through one passageway and it was like the craft area, almost like a shakedown but Cabo style.
Nice.
Um so that was cool. We walked through that and then you're at the big like festival grounds, after you go through the sugarcane and everything. And there's it's just a massive like fairground area.
Hmm.
It just like very spread out. I jumped I jumped the gun a little bit. When you walk in, there's the round rocks stage. So this is like the tiny stage, where
Hmm.
Goose played their acoustic set on Saturday. So you like walk through that. There's a big Viva el Gonzo sign. The stage area is like right like at the bottom, and then there's like a tiered section of like rocks, like a rock formation where everyone was like standing watching. um so that was cool. And there was like some late night sets that took place there, and we walked by one time and like Sierra Hall was sound checking. So it was
Nice.
pretty cool. Yeah. And then you go in and you're in the fairgrounds. If you take a left, you go down to Crania, the late
Hmm.
night spot, which was a decent trek. And then you go in, you got bathrooms on the fairgrounds, bathrooms, merch tent, local food, bars, like all lining the side of it. And then there are all these like cool installations, like there's this like light up fan that was spinning around that a lot of people late night were just like laying down looking up at. It
I
was
didn't know
like
that
changing
moved.
colors.
Wow.
Yeah. Or it moved with the lights. Like I don't know if they synced up with the music at all. I couldn't quite tell, but it was, I don't know. There were a lot of people just looking up, staring at it, enjoying themselves greatly. So that was cool. And then yeah, then it was the main stage, and there's palm trees everywhere, like really cool Cabo vibe. A little different than like the typical Mexico, like
Oh
Dave
yeah.
and Tim. Like you're not on the beach at all. Like it did. couldn't even see the beach. So it's just like a big grassy fairground area. But yeah, that was that. And then Crania was a very different experience than the fairgrounds. It was like, again, walk through a sugarcane area with the lights, and then you appear and there's this just like stage in the middle of like a little depression, and then there's all these construction like vehicles kind of thing around it. It was like very
Huh.
like industrial. And then like the stage setup was cool, like the big triangle screen, and they had a
Yeah.
bunch of food and bars there, even late night. So yeah, that was a little bit of the lay of the land.
You nailed it there, because it was that's what we were looking for, because it was like hard to
Okay.
gauge how far everything was or like what it looked like from looking on like
Yeah,
Google Maps and the map on the Viva el Gonzo site. So that helps a lot.
yeah, definitely got my steps in. My only notes for the whole weekend is that I'd have more bathrooms closer to like the main stage. They will had
Yeah.
them in like a central point, like right when you get to the fairgrounds, in between. Like, I don't know, it was a long walk to get to them. No, like no matter where you were. So I would have added some more bathrooms. But yeah. Other than
Okay.
that, no notes.
Awesome. Sounds like a really great art installation in the middle of like these like protected.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how to describe it. It's like protected grounds, but also there's like this estuary on one side, and then
Yeah.
the ocean is close, but like you said, you couldn't really see it from the stages, right? Like
Mm-mm.
it. So you have desert on one side, estuary, and then it's like stages and the ocean way off in the distance. So, um,
Yeah.
pretty wild. People were asking us like, and I was like, I have no idea. I'm not there. Like,
Mm-hmm.
can you get in the water and all this stuff? And I was like, I don't know, but sounds like you couldn't.
Yeah, and I think they frowned upon getting in the water, like by our resort, like right on the beach too. I think it was a little chilly, and they said not good to go in the water there. So we just stuck to the pool.
Good to know.
Yeah.
All right, so you rolled in late, 7 o'clock. So before you rolled in, Andy Frasco played to start things off night one, 3 to
Mm-hmm.
4 p.m. Then Mihaly from 4 to 5. Dogs in a Pile did a gig, 5:15 to 6:15. And then you rolled in as Dawes was playing. I think they played till
Yes.
7:45. Did you
Mm-hmm.
manage to catch any of Dawes at all?
Yeah, I saw like the last half of their set. I'd listened to a decent amount of Dawes like studio tracks just over the years,
Mm-hmm.
but I had never really listened to them live, and I was like pleasantly surprised. They were they were solid. I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah. And they were the second to last gig before Goose. Tycho played a live set from 8 to 9. I'm sure you caught some of that. And then it was Goose time. So, how about you read off this Goose set for us, Nolan? Because you were there,
Oh, I'd
so
love to.
that's your job.
Alrighty, let's do this. Usually, I feel like it's you doing it on our podcast, but so this is an honor to
Yeah,
read this
role
off.
reversal.
Yeah. All right. When we go through the whole thing,
Yeah, let's do both sets, and then we'll dive into highlights.
let's do it. We got Drive into Your Direction, Lead Up, Turn Clouds, In Bloom with Mahali, and then we get the song debut of Torero. Then set two, Ride Like the Wind cover, Into the Mist. Then Give It Time, Fish in the Sea, Big Modern, Show Closer, No Encore. Um, Pretty solid way to start things off.
Oh yeah, and they took that right to the ringer of their time slot that first night, like allotted time of ending at 12:15 a.m. Uh,
Yeah.
so where we want to start, gents? I guess we'll start with set one highlights for you, Nolan. Where do you want to start with that?
Oh man, set one highlights. Uh, I'm a big fan of Drive, so that was nice to see. Cool seeing Your Direction for my first time. Thought it was cool. Rick was kind of changing it up a little bit from album style, and maybe the first two times they played it. And I mean, In Bloom was awesome. Mahali was great. He sounded and looked very similar to Kurt Cobain. So that was neat. And then Torero, no one knew what was happening on that one. So trying to figure out that, we were like, what is this song?
Oh my gosh.
So no, that was a nice surprise. Like, of course they play Torero ahead of an unplayed song that's on their newest album. I like that.
Right. Yeah, that was our first thought. Mike and I were texting back and forth like, they haven't debuted Dustin Hoffman or Iguana song yet, and they're already putting a new song out there. Like, that's so
Savages.
Goose.
Oh yeah, they're not messing around.
No, and to that point, kicking things off with Drive, a huge jam vehicle early on, and it's just a great way to get the weekend started. I had noted that along with Torero as kind of my two main highlights, and just like you get that kind of atmospheric 2-guitar Goose early. You had the Cotter shuffle going, or you think it's going to be another like 35-minute Drive, and they pivot into that new arrangement of Your Direction to get like the 80s vibes going with Your Direction. It was just a really cool start, and I really like the way they jammed out Your Direction too. But
yeah, yacht rock in Cabo, baby.
Oh yeah, and it was a prelude to getting some Christopher Cross later, but pretty cool to hear a new arrangement. I was a big fan of it. I know there was mixed reviews on it.
It was solid.
Yeah, I dug it. Any thoughts on those, Mike? Drive, Your Direction?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like the Drive was a little bit short, which I prefer it to get stretched out, but it's still cool to get as an opener. Your Direction, I think that's the best it sounded so far out of the versions we've heard. And I didn't think necessarily we were going to be jamming it out, but cool to see that as well. And then Torero, yeah, like just they're such great songwriters that they're pumping out new ones before we even debut the whole new album that we're touring on right now. So just insane and really cool to see some of those Latin influences from the improv we've been calling out recently make their way into the songwriting. So really solid first set.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the first two songs, and you're already like, where the hell is this week going to go? Really cool dichotomy between the two songs too, like totally different vibes. And then you get that pretty great segue into Lead Up. You get Turn Clouds, vibes are high, and then Nolan mentioned it, In Bloom. Holly just crushed it, and that's a tough cover to crush. Like anything Nirvana is tough. So really great to see him on stage with Goose, and I thought they just absolutely nailed that. I was hoping for more of a jammer with Mihaly, if I'm being honest, but I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, he was interesting. We saw one of his sets at the Round Rock stage, and I mean, he does like I don't want to compare him to Ed Sheeran, but he does like the one man band kind of thing where he's like beatboxing on loop and all of that. I didn't know, I was not familiar with his game, but he crushed. I think he had a saxophonist with him too. But he's really talented.
Oh yeah, it's good stuff. Good to see him out there again. But we got to talk Torero. Like I have way too many notes on Torero, and it might be hasty to say this for me because like we're talking about night one, but this might be like the highlight of the weekend for me watching from home. Between like the surprise factor of the song, how great and fleshed out it already sounded, and it getting kind of jammed out, and like them being bold with it and making it the set closer, and it having the energy and like the runway to kind of be a great set closer and set the tone early. I just thought it was fantastic. And I'm not even really talking about the song portion of it yet, but like cool dichotomy of like funk verses and like a earworm poppy chorus with like these Latin tones interlaced. You can even hear Cotter cranked up loud and proud singing on the chorus. Like it was just so much cool stuff happening. I don't even know where to really start with it, but I have like a mountain of notes on it and I have no idea where to go with it. But really, really cool song. And I really, like Mike said, really think it's cool that they're adding more Latin flavor to their songwriting after seeing all those jams that we heard especially in the winter tour, going full Latin.
Yeah, it was cool. I think when a band plays a song for the first time and they just nail it and it's flawless, like that, just, I don't know. That gets me going. I love that.
Yeah,
I mean, it sounds like a cover, right? Like you're like, dang,
right.
I don't know what song this is, but they know what they're doing. I feel like that happens with like Dave Matthews Band too. If there's a cover I don't know, I'm like, oh, they're really they're really nailing this one. But yeah, I couldn't really. I need to go back and listen to it because in the moment you don't really know what's going on. So yeah,
Right.
definitely more interested to hear what you guys thought about it because it was just vibes alone. It was great in person.
Yeah, and maybe it sounded different there than what we heard, but like, oh my god, the mix on it sounded great. There was like this dueling guitar segment that they went to between the choruses, and then at the end of the song, that sounded terrific with like Peter and Rick mirroring each other. It was just
Mm.
so good, so good. And the jam too, great. I haven't even really talked about the jam much, but like, it went from like this like marching drums kind of beat from Cotter that moved into like this Tom's kind of more tribal feel, and after spending some time in like that Latin groove, it went really dark and dissonant, and then it was kind of a hint to like the dark Goose kind of sticking around from Winter, and then you'd feel like it was ripcorded with the runtime of the song, but it was kind of a satisfying amount of time in that dark space, and it went right back into that Latin riff. So just really, really fun listen. I've listened to it like 50 times.
I love it.
Yeah, you summarized those notes pretty well, man. Don't sell yourself short. That was a pretty excellent summary. And I just wanted to say as well that it sounded so good, to Nolan's point about debuting a song and it just being like textbook perfect, that I was Googling lyrics that I was hearing in real time, trying to figure out, because it has to be a cover because we've never heard this before, that I just don't happen to
Hmm.
know.
It gave me the same feeling as like Big Modern did last fall of like, this is a banger and so fleshed
Yes.
out already.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yep. Good call. Yeah. This is what Goose does. Awesome debuts.
And to do that as your set closer, like I said, your first set of the entire gig, you're
Hmm.
closing out, like you want to save like a banger for that, and they just crushed it. Just unbelievable. But this set too, we kick it off with another surprise, and I don't really have notes on this. I want to hear Nolan's take on this Ride Like the Wind, but all I have to say, Mike, is how do we not pick this on our covers episode?
I just want to say, and I know I can make a revision here without anyone knowing, but Crisscross was on the cutting table. So you'll just have to take my word for it. But I feel really bad about it now, having heard how
I
awesome
know.
they just slayed this
I
cover.
know. We had talked about him, but it was like, are we pushing too much yacht rock after your direction here? Like, let's cool the jets.
Yes, that was a concern.
No, perfect for the vibes. I mean, get things going from Torero set closer to Ride Like the Wind set to opener. Didn't expect either of those things to happen. Um, and I was thinking, uh, based on like the clues and the video that Goose put out ahead of the first day, that there was going to be some type of like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas
Right?
vibe to it that would tie in with the like video promos they did of Rick and Trevor driving through the desert in the car, and then you get the suitcase and Hunter S. Thompson, the king of Gonzo journalism. I thought I was looking up the Fear and Loathing soundtrack. I was like, oh, maybe we'll get White Rabbit. Like that would be sick. So yeah, totally thrown for a loop with this cover. But I dug it. It was. I liked everything the whole week. So yeah, they just kept it going.
Yeah. A huge shift in the vibes, to your point, Nolan, between Torero and Ride Like the Wind. But
Hmm.
we're waiting for the Goose Yacht Rock album, apparently, because the silky smooth vocals of Rick is perfect for these covers.
Uh, you can't really beat Rick's voice right now. He's just that's just butter smooth, man.
Oh, yeah. What else we got in this set, too? It really, another seamless transition into the mist. It had me fooled for a second there. I was rocking that. I think it was Blotter Ellis meme of like, is this creatures? Is this mist for a second? And then it was clearly mist.
Mm.
So I fell for that
Ooh,
after a few
Creatures would have been
cocktails.
nice there too.
Yeah, and it was great. A little bit jammed out, missed, and then another transition into Give It Time. This is, to our point, or for us at home, the stream went to shit. Like, for this stretch, like we couldn't watch any of this live in the moment. It like went completely blacked out.
I was gonna say we didn't see the mist.
The
Oh no.
Mist and Give It Time were like blacked out for most of it, and then you caught the end of Give It Time, and it was choppy, but we caught the back end, so it was like, I guess we'll have Nolan talk about Mist if he wants to.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, I always like Mist, but Give It Time to me was one of the big highlights of the second set. One of my favorites off the new album. I think Cotter just like absolutely dominates, and I hope you did get to see the end of it, and it wasn't too choppy because he's just an animal at the end. And I think it's one of the best parts of the new album. Him just going off.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
that was that was really cool to see him doing that. I know they've been playing it, but to see their new songs, quote unquote, like that strong and late in a set. I mean, yeah, that was big time. And then Fish in the Sea, always good. Kind of like that, and Turn Clouds. I feel like always gets the crowd kind of dancing and vibing.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a nice stretch right there.
Just really well constructed sets with like, you bring it down a little
Mm-hmm.
bit, you get a nice sing along, and then a Fish in the Sea, you get the crowd dancing again. Or same thing with like, a lead up in the first set, and then go into Turn Clouds, and then close it out strong. It's just really great setlist construction on this night, and then it got even better as the weekend went on. To your point,
Oh
Nolan.
yeah, I felt like they kind of eased into it a little bit. Like a great show, but like they didn't like use everything up on the first night. You're like, okay, there's so many good songs left for them to play, bangers, uh, and then they end night one with Big Modern and just got everybody head banging and jamming, and I think the rail was gonna come down at one point during the heavy metal Goose face. Like
Face.
it's the best. That song, unbelievable. Has got to be on the next new album. Has to be.
Oh yeah. Let's get D. James Goodwin on the ringer, and we'll ask him to put it on the album.
Oh, we'll make him.
Yeah, I want to ask him if he's already recorded it, possibly.
Hey,
Perhaps.
maybe. But Big Modern, dude. Like, we joke every time a version of Big Modern comes up, like, it has a case for being the GOAT. Like, every version's so different, and like they're all great. And I think this one's no exception to that. Like, it's interesting. This one's very, very different from the other Big Moderns we've heard, in the sense it's like very, very. We also talk about how I think the word patient is overused, but this one is actually really patient and very similar in structure to like that Goose Miss Hunger site we saw, where it's like it's slowly escalating and building
Mm-hmm.
around one riff that the band kind of latches onto and just escalates until it hits a fever pitch. Um, and this one's really driven by Peter and Trevor, in my opinion, which is always a good time when Trevor is up front and center. And they're really building off each other to kind of like get into Mario Kart mode early with like, the Rainbow Road vibes. And kind of once it gets to the top of where they could hit with that riff, Rick kind of takes over and gets a dance party going, and
Mm-hmm.
hit some really emotional soloing that is just awesome before getting dark and then going metal and then ending the song. So really, really fun ride on this one.
Oh yeah, and I like usually it's a bummer when you don't get an encore, but like, what? How can you top that to end the night? You can't.
No, and festival's different. Like, in some ways, it's almost nicer to like have them jam out like that, and like just like go as many minutes as possible playing, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
especially for a song like Big Modern. But Mike, what do you think about this Big Modern, man? I know you want to talk about this.
Yeah, you read my mind. This is actually believe it or not, my highlight of the whole weekend. And I think it might be my favorite Big Modern. It was
Ooh.
just absolutely outstanding. Obviously, I think what you said is on point. It does remind me a lot of the Goose Miss Hunger site, and I'm kind of a sucker for these long, patient builds, at least when the payoff is there. And I absolutely felt like the payoff was here. I think it's some of the most beautiful playing that I've heard from Rick in a long time. And I know that term gets thrown around a lot and probably overused by even myself, but I've listened to it back a few times, and this Big Modern really, I think, is going to stand the test of 2025 when it's all said and done.
It's not overused if it's true, Mike.
Exactly.
That's a good point. What was it? Is this your GOAT Big Modern, Alex?
I didn't want to be too hasty with it, but like in a moment, I'm like, this is pretty great. Like this is the top 3 version, easy. Like clears that bar easy for me.
I like that.
I get very excited with the new hotness, so I wanted to give myself a couple days to like process,
Oh yeah, I mean, like that's what I want to hear. I want to hear about y'all's takes because in the moment there, I'm like, this is the best version of every
Oh
song.
yeah, you were texting me in all caps.
Yeah.
Was I? Oh yes, it was. What a great way to start the night, or start the trip too, and the night because we went to the late night sets.
Yeah.
After that.
Yeah, this thing didn't stop after Goose at 12:15 a.m. It went till 3:15 in the morning. So the post-show gigs were over at, what was the stage called again? I'm forgetting now.
Crania.
So the post-show gigs were over at the Crania stage. Started off with Everything Here Is Alive, and then Eggy. I know you wanted to see Eggy, man. They played till 1:35 a.m., and then LP Joby closed out the night with a Dead House set all the way till 3:15 a.m. So what time did you get over there? Who'd you watch? What were you looking forward to? And tell us some cool stories, man.
Yeah, so I got to shout out our crew that was there. It was a couple's trip. So my wife, Danielle, and then our great friends, Dylan and Renee. They went back. They were tired. I was like, I am staying for Eggy. Cannot not see my guys, Eggy. So I made the solo trek over to Crania, and I think I was like the first person there. I was just like, they were like, no encore. I was like, all right, I'll just walk over there. It was like the first person there. They had food carts and bars still open. So like that 1 a.m. strawberry margarita hit a little different. But no, just a great time. And then, man, they had some really good food over there. I had an Argentinian mac and cheese hot dog. Yeah, big time late night snack.
Oh, yeah. Get those munchies going.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was great. I was like second row there at the front for Eggy, and then I feel like shows like that, a festival like this, you're just like making friends left and right too, and like the Goose fan base is like really nice for the most part. So that was fun, just making new friends. And I started kind of bopping around a little bit and ended up on the little balcony up on the left, kind of like overlooking the stage, and then got to see Rick sit in with Eggy, and that was that was awesome.
Yeah.
You Can Call Me Al was not on my bingo card, but as soon as that riff started, the place went bananas.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And you were nice enough to send us some videos, and we made a post that we collabed with you on. And hearing Rick and Jake Brownstein, man, we need more of those collabs in our life. Like, unreal.
I know. Yeah. Maybe my only other complaint is that Brownstein wasn't on the stage with Goose at any point, because that would have been some kind of guitar duel.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The chemistry was there like right from the jump, and like that kind of like dueling guitar vibe that was in Torero was like continued in a totally different genre. It's just kind of neat to see that kind of continued from the Goose set through Eggy.
Oh yeah, and talk about a song too that you're like not expecting. Well, who would ever expect to see "You Can Call Me Al" get jammed and ripped to shreds like that. I mean, gosh, that's awesome. And Eggy, if people listening or watching this, like, you got to check out Eggy. They're up next. Like, they're big time.
They're on a whole other level the last year or two. I feel like they've really
Mhm.
stepped up their game. And the crazy part is like they've been at it longer than Goose, and it's just like a new evolution of the band. And they're just hitting their stride. And I think they're next. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I was the most impressed by them of anyone else other than Goose that I saw. Not to say that others weren't great, but that's just how good Eggy was. There were a lot of talented performers there, and man, they crushed. That was a great way to start things with the late night.
Hell yeah.
They played another song too. What? But I can't remember. Didn't they play? I think they played another song. Or was that the next night?
So the next day there was more guest spots going, but all I saw was "You Can Call Me Al" for night one.
Okay, it must have been night two then. Yeah, we played on two songs with Dogs in a Pile. But yeah, no, Eggy, Rick and Eggy. That was what a Connecticut dream team up there.
Mike, you have a chance to watch any of this? You Can Call Me Al. You like the jam?
Yeah, and we're definitely a pro Iggy podcast here. I just saw them in Charlotte a month ago, I think, and they just put on an absolutely killer freaking show. They're definitely up next.
I had to miss their show in Philly because of work, and I'm never gonna forgive my workplace for that because my flight didn't get home in time for the show.
Oh no.
So I'm gonna see him at All Good Now Fest at least, but I need like a redo of like a full Eggy gig, please.
Yeah.
I'll say I met a few of them over the weekend, and they were just really nice guys too, like super down to earth, just hanging out. So good people.
Hell yeah. That's another cool point. We saw like artists from the event just like lingering around the grounds with all of y'all. Even Goose, like the whole weekend, it seemed like everyone was meeting everybody.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. Someone made a comment. It was like seemed like summer camp almost, where like just all these friends were like meeting up and like collabing together, and just I mean it was just like a giant party, and everyone having just an absolute blast. Like you could tell the musicians were like all so stoked to be there, and that was really cool because I feel like sometimes these festivals or gigs, you're like, yeah, we're gonna play this spot and it's hot and it's but I mean you're in Cabo, you better be having a good time.
Yeah, not to mention everyone was like fast and loose with like the tequila and the Modelo's on stage, I feel like, from all the artists I saw.
Yes, there were many tequilas and cervezas were had.
Gotta love it. So that was Eggy. Did you stay for LPGOB too, or was it too late?
I stayed for I think half of it, and I didn't. I thought the whole thing was. I hadn't been to one of her shows before, so I thought the whole thing was like a Grateful Dead set, but it wasn't. So I was kind of sticking around to hear some Dead, but then I think I left about halfway through, and it was like, I mean, like 2:30 at that point, and I was very tired. So yeah, she like opened with Hunger Sight, and then So Ready, I think, or Slow Ready, I can't remember. But yeah, it was. I mean, it was cool. But yeah, I did not get to see the Rick sit in with LP.
Yeah, I was towards the back end from the clips I could gather. It looked like it was
Mm-hmm.
Hunger Sight, Slow Ready, and Travelers were the songs I saw people take videos of. I'm not sure if she did more
Yeah,
Goose, but those are the ones I had written down. And then, yeah, wardrobe change for Rick. He was living his best life with like this like man bun situation going on, and just a vibe up there. And he was shredding to the end of that set for pretty great stuff.
yeah. I mean, that's such a cool collab too. I'm not like super into the DJ scene, or no, I don't know much about it or anything. But those videos are pretty cool. Rick just ripping it up.
Yeah, and you can tell it means the world to Goose as a whole, but just really
Mm-hmm.
fun to see them having fun in a totally different way than we're used to.
Oh yeah.
So that's a cap on night one. You went to bed 2:30, easy to get home hopefully. But now we're at the pre-show for night two, man.
Yeah.
So what did your morning for night two look like?
All right, I got to check the notes here. Let's see. Room service, ate by the pool or by our room, which we had a nice swim out pool, and we were right next to our friends that were on the trip with us, so we could just swim on over and say hello from the pool. So did that, then yeah, just hit the pool again, the bigger pool, and hung out there until time to go back over for Goose. I mean, it was a lot of just, weekend away from the kids, and Secrets was kids are not allowed at Secrets, so it was just yeah,
Sounds pretty
it was
great.
peaceful. Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. So yeah, we were maybe boring during the days, but some R&R and some good times as well.
Well, yeah, soak it up while you can. And we're also all getting old and can't hang at
Yes,
festivals like we used to, I feel like. So yeah, I
that is true.
respect it.
Yeah, and I was like, I really I'm here to see Goose, and Eggy is like a bonus. So I'm like, I know I'm gonna go see like all of their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that kind of helped free up some time a little bit. I'm like, I don't bake in the sun during the day, and then we kind of just like stuck to the night sets. So that was kind of our plan the whole time, and I thought it worked out. I was happy with it.
I do not blame you, and that's the cool part about this is like everyone chose their own adventure, like I said, and like
Mm-hmm.
it was hot. It looked hot, man. Like I'm surprised you didn't want to go on the 11:30 a.m. morning run with Peter in like 90-degree weather.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna quite make it because I woke up and I felt great every morning, surprisingly, but my legs and feet were shot. Like
Mm-hmm.
that, there's a long time to be standing, and like I said, there's a ton of walking. So I was like, yeah, I'm not. Sorry, Pete, I'm not making the run.
Did you pack the
Have a great
compression
time.
socks though? The compression socks are a game changer at nighttime, man. For us old men.
I did not. No.
Next time, it's a game changer. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to think. I did not get much sleep. I was jet lagged the next morning, so I was like, went to bed at 3 and woke up at 7. I was just ready to go. So
Shit.
yeah, I don't know. Night 2 and 3 though were just phenomenal.
Oh yeah. So we talked about the 11:30 a.m. run with Peter. Let's backtrack a little bit. Just from what we saw, looked like a big crowd actually went out to run with them. Looked like a pretty nice, fun run. The cool thing that Peter mentioned while he was at the run was he's working with the community.wisterialane.org boards guys at WTED to organize Goose Run Club events for other shows throughout the year. So keep an eye out there. There's also volleyball with Cotter at 1 p.m. Surprised you didn't do that either, Nolan. I mean, once again, trying to not exercise apparently. Like, come on, man.
No, not not this weekend.
That looked a little more intense.
I need a little break.
That looked a little more intense. And the winners
Yeah,
got
I
to.
feel like I didn't see any.
I'm sorry. I was like, the winners got to meet and greet with Goose, so there was like intense competition going on. Like,
Oh, cool.
yeah. Did you know anyone who went to the volleyball thing by chance, or meet anyone?
Just Cotter.
Just got
Just
yeah.
him.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
met Ref
Just
Cotter.
him. No, that was. Yeah, I didn't. I didn't. I don't think I even saw any pictures from that. But yeah, that's a cool. Goose is like always just so good with the fans. Like their fan engagement is next level, and I feel like they just get it, and they're just good down to earth dudes who like actually enjoy like interacting with the fans. Pretty different than most bands, I feel like.
Way different, and they do it better than almost anybody, in my opinion, in terms of
Mm-hmm.
being generous to the fan base while also just like getting their bag and you know playing the game the right way.
Oh yeah.
So night two, you rolled in late. So let's read off some of these artists that played earlier. Rivka Ruth started off the day 1:15 to 2:15. Then LP Giobbi was back early 2:45 to 3:45. Another Dead House set. La Lam played at 3:45 to 4:30. And then Pigeons playing ping pong 4:30 to 5:25. I heard a lot of good reviews about that set. A lot of people I'm surprised how good this was. And then Dawes hit the stage 5:55 to 6:45. And then the big second line headliner of the weekend, the only band to really play like one set outside of, or play one set for the whole weekend, was The War on Drugs. Played 7:15 to 8:30. And then Sierra Hull 8:30 to 9:15 before Goose hit the stage. So what time did you roll in, Nolan? Did you get to catch any of the pre-show sets before Goose, or was it just kind of like taking it easy and grabbing some drinks or whatever?
We saw. I think we saw the end of the War on Drugs, maybe like the last half, kind of like with Dawes the other night. And I mean, I hadn't listened to them much at all. At one point, I had to like do a double take. I thought Bob Dylan was on stage singing like Joker Man. It was like uncanny how much the guy sounded like Dylan. That was wild. But no, I thought they were great. I was impressed by everybody that I saw. So yeah, that was a good way to kind of set the stage for Goose. I like the way they kind of scheduled everything. Like it wasn't a ton of, oh man, if I go see this band, I'm not going to see this. It was very much like you can see whoever you want. You're not going to miss anything. So I thought that was a cool way to do it.
Did you manage to catch Miss Sierra Hull? She was over at the I don't remember which stage it was, whether it was the round.
Oh, she was at the Round Rocks,
Yeah.
and she was they were like doing a little sound check when we walked by, so we saw her like briefly.
Okay.
But then wanted to get in to get some dinner beforehand. Yeah, so it was cool. I mean, just walking around the grounds was like, it was really cool to see everyone hanging out, all the different art installations. They had like an igloo tucked away in one corner. It was like lit up and had this like weird AI, like had an AI camera and was just like generating yourself in AI imagery when you walked up to it. Pretty wild. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They had a lot of crazy stuff there. It was really cool.
Oh my gosh. I can't imagine the drug-fueled attendees were spending, or I can't imagine the drug-fueled attendees were spending a lot of time there.
Oh yeah, and they had like some like very low to the ground couches and lounge chairs. Things got a little weird in there late night. At walking by, I was like, "Oh God!" I feel like these people they're having a tough time right now. Meanwhile, the people under the fan or whatever were just like they're having a great time. The igloo was more of a, "Ooh, hope they're okay."
The dichotomy of man, right there.
Yeah, yeah. It was a little eye-opening.
So I don't know how we backtracked from that, but I did want to shout out real quick that Rick was hitting the guest spots hard early on night two. He guested with Dawes on a Most People sandwich. So went Most People into Fire on the Mountain, hitting some dead covers for you, back into Most People. I only saw a clip from Fire on the Mountain, and it just another reminder that Rick crushes all the dead stuff he touches, and well worth a watch if you can find a clip of that.
No, he definitely does.
And then I don't know if you caught his guest spot with The War on Drugs for their song Brothers, but I saw that listed as well. I could not find a video of that to save my life. But yeah, that was just before the show. And then we get into Goose, night two, baby. And we start off hot. I won't make you read this one, Nolan. Mike, you want to read it, or you want me to read it? I don't mind either way.
Yeah, I can read it. So we started off with Arrow. We go into Bob Dawn, Draconian Meter Maid, Seekers on the Ridge, Part 1 and Part 2. And then the big debut that I was waiting all weekend for of Iguana Song. And then We've got Salt, and that closes out set 1. Set 2 starts off with Atlas Dogs, then Rockdale. Both of those are with Taylor Goldsmith and Griffin Goldsmith from Dawes. And then Redbird, State of the Art, AEIOU, Jim James cover, The Empress of Organos, a crazy new version of Slow Ready, and back into Empress of Organos to complete the sandwich.
Pretty wild ride.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So where we want to start with this, gents, Nolan, I want to run through some of your highlights from set 1 of night 2.
Yeah, I mean, I loved every song that was played. Arrow, great opener. Big fan of Arrow. Always have been. And Bob Don. I was like, this is a 2022 kind of throwback start. Those were always popping up in 22 in the same set. I was excited to see Draconian Meter Maid because Cotter is the man, and that song gets funky, and I like that they jammed it out. So that was cool. It's always fun when you see a song you haven't seen before. So that Iguana song was top of my list to see over the weekend. Made friends with an iguana at our pool, so I was like, this is a sign. A bright green iguana, just he was on an island in the pool, just climbing a palm tree. Yeah, that was cool.
Did he find his brother?
Iguana in the wild. What's
Did
that?
he find his brother?
Yes, he did.
Oh, good. Glad to hear it.
Yes. Yeah, there were 2 of them. Yeah. But yeah, and then Atlas Dawes and Rock Dawes. Holy cow. Those, I loved both of those. Rock Dawes an all-time favorite song of mine. And then, I can't wait to talk about the Slow Ready, the Slow Fast. That was big time.
Okay. So, yeah, there's a lot to jump into. And now I'm realizing I asked for highlights, and it's like this whole thing's a highlight. So let's just kind of run through it.
All of it.
Arrow. Man, another night, another huge jam vehicle to get things started. Very rare to see this open. I think it's just the 6th time ever opening a first set, and 3 of those were like one-setters from like festivals or taboos or, the early days. And it's kind of been a trend in 2025, really since Goose of hitting the ground running with big jammers early, and I thought this was an excellent start. You have any thoughts on this jam here, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really great start. Arrow, Bob Don, Draconian. I mean, that might be like an ideal starting 3 for me. And just the novelty of starting it off with Arrow, just really a lot of energy here to start it off. And definitely, we can talk about this more as we get to night 3, but I feel like this weekend kind of like was like your ideal progression of a 3-night run where you're just steadily increasing the quality as we go through the weekend. And I feel like this one, compared to night 1, at least for me, hit a lot harder, a lot more immediately.
Yeah, totally different feel. It's interesting that you say that, because it's like people might hear that and take away that night 1 was not good, but it's just like it was much lower energy, I feel like, outside of the highlights. It was more like, let's just relax and ease into it, to Nolan's point earlier.
Totally agree on that.
I feel like the whole weekend, I mean, it was just like a big dance party. Like, I mean, I know you're going to get people that love to dance at every show, but it just seemed like everybody was dancing. Maybe it was just where I was standing, but I mean, everyone was super into it. And then right away with Arrow, just like, I mean, everyone going. You kind of felt like, later in the set, things were just getting started. Everyone was really into it, so that was cool to see. Yeah, we were like right up on. We were on the rail, but kind of by Peter a little bit.
Yeah.
And we just kind of hung out there each night. That was just like our spot, and it seemed like everyone kind of did that, where like we like settled in, found a good spot on the first night, and like the same people were around us every night. So that was kind of cool. Got to make a lot of show buddies, and yeah, meet a lot of cool people that way. So that was fun. Shout out to the Fem Flock.
Oh yeah.
Podcast. Ran into them. They were around us the whole time, so that was cool. Let's see. I got a list of shout outs here. almost always there. Neil and Ryan on the
Hell
scene.
yeah.
Great catching up with them. Man, Greg Knight, Ryan Nichols of DMB lore.
Okay.
He was staying the same spot as us, and um, yeah, he and his fiance. So that was good. And shout out to Coach John Lombardi,
Nice.
working his tail off there, the front of stage camera the whole time. So that was it was a great time.
Man, that's a nice crew to be around for a long weekend. It's to your point earlier about summer camp vibes, like getting those interactions
Hmm.
where you can like build off of them and like almost have like inside jokes or whatever, or like the people you're around all weekend is kind of wholesome. It's nice to hear.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it's a good, great vibes. Good people around us the whole time. So that was fun. Made it that much better.
And you talked about Arrow setting the tone early, and once again another Mario Kart jam. Like it's always a good time.
Hmm.
Um,
Absolutely.
but this one was a little. It reminded me in some ways of Atlanta Arrow, only in the sense that it wound up becoming like an alien invasion, but it was a very different alien invasion. And Getty was like a wizard on the lights, where like he was literally creating UFOs from the stream we were watching. I was like, people who are tripping over there might think that there's an actual UFO in the sky. Like,
Yeah. Oh, shout out to Getty. Him too. I mean, just an absolute wizard. And I think night two was his birthday as well, so that was cool. They gave him a shout out. I think it was night
it's night
two,
one, May 8th. Yeah,
night one.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Big 3-0.
yeah. So that was cool. He crushed it.
Yeah. So, and to your point, that's like a kind of throwback transition between Arrow and Bob Don. Those two have segued together in the past, and stellar
Hmm.
start. Wow. Um, very Trevor forward on that transition between the two, and then that Bob Don just ripped. And then when we went to Draconian Meter Maid, which Mike already raved about, but I'm
Hmm.
glad you got that as your first one, Nolan. Although they've all kind of been pretty great in my opinion.
Yeah, they have.
It's one of those songs where the runtime's never that long, but they just cover so much ground on these jams. Like they're just like great, like 13-minute bangers.
Yeah, and that's 13 minutes is like, I mean, I'm coming from DMB world. That's like one of the longest songs they've got at this point. Like Seek Up at 20 minutes is the longest DMB song. Goose is like, okay.
I mean, back in the day it would have been different, but they're in different phases now, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's like, oh yeah, one of their shorter songs, 13 minutes. It's funny.
Yeah.
I did want to say to your point, Alex, about that 13-minute Draconian, like they keep trying to do new things with it though, and it feels like they're just kind of scratching at it over and over again. But it also feels like inevitable that at some point in the near future, we're gonna get that 20-minute Draconian. It just feels like it's inevitable.
Yeah, we got to get a big one. This one reminded me a lot of the one from Nashville last year, where it had like those like Chariots of Fire kind of teases in it, and it was like very piano forward on the jam, almost a little blissy, but
Great call.
just great stuff. And we close out an epic start with the Seekers run. Take it or leave it. We're Seekers fans here, so another highlight for us.
Same.
Um,
Seekers set one. Love it.
yeah, it's great stuff. Always a good time, good sing along. And then we get into Iguana Song. Where do we want to start with this, gents? How'd you feel about the debut of Iguana Song, Nolan?
I felt great about it. It was nice to see. I liked being able to see like who's doing what, like for the first time on the song. So like you see Peter with the riff, and then him and Rick kind of like mirroring each other, and then Peter singing, Rick comes in. Like it was such a cool vibe. I feel like all the lights were like very much green for part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Very appropriate. Um, yeah, I think like Peter, it's a big time song from Peter. Maybe his best.
It's up there. Definitely one of the highlights of EMG. A top 3 song on both me and Mike's list. Easy from EMG.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I love the way they like Peter sings so differently. Just sound the vibe. Everything's different about like him and Rick, and like the song is in two different kind of um, tones. I'd say. I think it makes like each one's part sound better. They like play off each other so well.
I had that in my notes too, actually, Nolan. It's like the contrast in their voices, but also in their guitar tones is it
Mm-hmm.
almost like creates this like vintage feel for me when I listen to it. Like it's just really cool. But yeah, it's an absolute banger. It's hard for me to know the endless possibilities of where this song could go to because I feel like they stuck very close
Mm-hmm.
to like the album version for this version, and it was awesome. And I think it was a good
Yeah.
choice to do that in a set list like this, but also
Mm-hmm.
curious to see where it goes. Mike, you have any thoughts on Iguana
Oh, for
Song?
sure.
Well, as you know, when we did our album review and my hasty rankings, this was my number one song off the album. So I'll say that I screamed indoors 3 times this weekend, and one of them was the debut of this song. So I was very, very excited. It sounds great. To both of your points, that was the main reason it was my favorite song off the album, and why I think I agree with Nolan that this is probably Pete's best song for my ears, anyways. But I think it's just really awesome how like they've obviously done lots of other songs where Rick and Peter both make contributions vocally, but in a lot of ways this feels like maybe like one of the first examples of like a true like 50-50 co-songwriting effort. In some ways it's given me like John and Paul Beatles vibes or something, where it just like is very collaborative. And you do get the best of both of their talents on display. And yeah, it did stick a little bit close to the album version, but as we know, like this song is just a springboard for possibilities. So I'm looking forward to seeing its final forms as well, because this is just going to be a monster over the next year, I think.
Oh yeah, you know they're gonna get that like King Giz guest spot and do like a 30-minute psychedelic ride on this thing or something. Like, come on.
I will die. I will actually die.
No, oh man, no, that was fun. Cool way to kind of debut that, and then in the first set going into Salt.
And that's just a peak way to end a set. Like that was my only notes on Salt was amazing closer to any set or encore. Huge fan of the song placement.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I hadn't seen that one either. So back to back Iguana Salt was really cool.
really cool. And actually, I lied because I just found another note I had on it that I actually had scribbled down, and it was just Cotter's been cranked up for the vocal harmonies on this one too. Like I love hearing Cotter like super loud now on these vocal harmonies, so it just sounds great. So that's set 1. Set 2 here. During set break, we had gotten some texts and messages like they're setting up a second drum kit next to Cotter, setting up another mic. Who's it going to be? And pretty quickly, everyone came to the conclusion it was going to be another epic Dawes guest spot. And we start off with Atlas Dogs, or Atlas Dawes, as everyone was calling it. Nolan.
Oh, hey, I came up with that.
Everyone came up with that. So take us through where your mind was at seeing Dawes on stage to start set 2.
Well, I didn't notice the second drum set at first. I was watching Rick and I forget his name, lead singer, guitarist of Dawes, and then I just like glanced over at Cotter, maybe like a quarter of the way into the song. I was like, oh, whoa, that's cool. I didn't expect that, but no, they're great. It was cool that they opened, or they played a tribute to LA in the at the Grammys. Both of their houses burned down in the LA fires. So I think it was like knowing that, and then like seeing them having a good time on stage. I thought I was like, just like a nice moment. Yeah, I was really impressed with where they took the jams on these two, and was impressed by the guitar chops as well. I didn't know quite that they could jam like that. So that was yeah, that was nice. And then Rockdale's one of my favorites. And gosh, what a great sing along song.
My gosh, that was my like main takeaway from it, especially this version. It was like this version felt like the sing along at the Irish pub with everyone with their arms around each other's shoulders or whatever, and just singing along together with your mates. Like that was the vibe.
Belting it out. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it seemed like everyone was just like going nuts shouting this one out.
Oh, amazing. And that's just a cool way to open a set with a big guest spot like that, especially Dawes, who has history going back to like Fred the Festival with Goose. Really cool guest spot. Mike, what'd you think about this Atlas Dawes, Rockdale, Rockdaw, whatever you want to call the Rockdale version of Dawes?
Yeah, I love both parts of it. I think just at the end of the day, Dawes works really well with Goose. I've said it on this pod, I think, before, but I'm a humongous fan of their guest spot on Rosewood Heart from last year, or no, 2 years ago now. Yeah, so 2023 Borderlands. But yeah, that Rosewood, I listen to that all the time. So they work really well together. And it seems like Taylor and Rick in particular seem to have like the ability to get into this guitar god mind meld where they just know what the other's going to do and can sync really effortlessly off of each other unplanned. So yeah, those first two, that's about as much energy as you can start off here with the guest spots on both of those.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I was impressed how much Taylor knew the songs. Like he was locked in. I forget which part he sang part of Rockdale. I think, is that right?
Yeah, both.
Yeah, he was
Atlas Dogs and Rockdale.
Yeah, both. He knew what he was doing. He knew the songs well. So that was really cool.
Yeah, it was mesmerizing to watch those two, even like on the stream when they were showing like the full band with the guests on stage. Like your eyes were locked in on the Rick and Taylor Goldsmith chemistry going on. And like to Mike's point, Rick would like introduce a riff or like try to like share a riff with Taylor, and he'd latch on immediately, and they were doing this like cool dueling guitar thing again, like more like Allman Brothers style in my opinion, but really cool jam on this, and then a sick transition to Rockdale, and then a great sing along, slow churning kind of groove to close out that one. That was like everyone was smiling all weekend, but that was like the first time I really saw like everyone with like their like this is a jam stank face going on Rockdale. So it was fun to watch.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my highlights of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, how could everything not be the highlight though? Like it sounds like
I know. It was. Yeah.
Oh gosh. So Dawes, 2 songs. Wish they could have stayed on stage longer, but we go right into another big jammer, Redbird here. Did you have any thoughts on Redbird and that amazing transition into state of the art?
Yeah, I think Redbird and Iguana are like a little similar in composition. We're talking about the like Lennon McCartney vibes. Like when Rick comes in on Redbird, the song just takes off. But no, I've always been a fan of that. But the way they get into it at the end, it's like such a nice peak. Huge fan, and then had not seen State of the Art perform yet. It took me a minute to figure out what was happening, but yeah, that was. I mean, Rick just absolutely shines vocally on that one, so that was really nice to see as well.
It's one of the peak covers Goose does, in my opinion. Like, Mike and I always joke, it's like if we did a top 5 covers episode, we'd have 40 covers each. But like, State of the Art's up there. It's pretty great.
Oh, for sure.
And I forgot to mention the whole food poisoning. Peter was sick night 1 situation. He definitely was feeling better night 2.
Oh yeah.
So he got some love with Iguana Song, and now Redbird here kind of getting some more Peter energy. He had his Jordan game, as the people on Blue Sky were saying. Jordan flu game.
Yeah, he ate the bad pizza.
Oh gosh. But yeah, that Redbird was pretty compact, but a good one. It was like really Peter focused, even on the jam, in my opinion. really simple kind of 3-chord
Mm-hmm.
shot going, and then Rick was playing this like really grimy, muddy guitar to kind of continue the stank face from Rockdale there, and yeah, it was really the Trevor and Peter show, while Rick was kind of just adding some grime texture in the background, and then Cotter just held things down, taking us into like that slow mold into state of the art, which was gorgeous. I really liked this part of the run, and it was a nice cool down.
Yeah, cool down while still melting faces. It was. I think that's Rick's goal in life is to melt at least one face on every song.
Well, if the faces were melted from the Redbird state of the art run, the skulls were like crumbled into dust after that from this Empress sandwich here. And you alluded to it earlier, but we got the debut of a new version of Slow So Ready called Fast Slow now. Where do we want to start with this? What was running through your head during that Fast Slow, which really served mostly as like the quote unquote jam for this Empress sandwich?
Yeah, I kind of thought I was like, oh, cool, they're gonna end with Empress, sweet, and then they, I think I went to grab a drink toward the end of the first part of Empress, and then was walking back. I was like, oh my god, what is happening here? And it was so cool to see, like, from because I was like in the back, I started up front and then was in the back and was just like kind of taking it all in with the lights and everything during Fast Slow, and it was just a cool timing to see everything. The lights were like so impressive, I thought, during that. Yeah, it was just
Getty, baby.
yeah, no, that was big time. I wanted to ask you guys though, uh like what did you think about it? What made it uh fast slow or slow fast or whatever it was? Like, what, break it down for me.
Well, the first thing we got to say is that we're already reeling from the attempted rebrand after Money Ready at Goosemas, and now we have another huge financial
Money back.
commitment for Fast Slow here. So
That's
we're going
right.
full Tiger King, never going to recover financially from this, but we'll get there, folks. But on the
Yes.
initial pass, it was hard to tell what was going on, whether it was like improv and they just came up with this on the fly, or if it was orchestrated. And then on a second watch, it was pretty clear like they planned to do this all along. But the only reason that
Mm.
I got that impression at first was like there was so much talk on the talkback mics between all the guys during this transition. You kind of had this like high energy Empress jam that like collapsed into this like ethereal space, and then the
Hmm.
arpeggiator like started suddenly going, and it's like, oh, that's cool. Like you normally only hear that on Slow Ready, and like that's usually just the jam for Slow Ready. Are they going to just do the jam of it, and then
Hmm.
um you know Rick starts singing this like totally different cadence and melody line and kind of repeating phrases from Slow Ready, So Ready, and yeah, the arpeggiator being present through that whole thing was like really strange in a good way. Like
Hmm.
made it more like poppy club dance feel. But I want to hear what Mike thinks about this because we were like texting
Yeah.
like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing! Oh my gosh, what's happening?"
Yeah, no, I mean, like pretty much right from the get go, I like looked at my girlfriend like right away, and I was like, Peter's just turning this into Club Goose. And honestly, like it makes sense to me. He's been, doing so many sets with Becky, TJ, Rivka, Ruth, and he's just been adding so many more electronic elements to his arsenal overall over the last like year and change. So it made sense as an evolution to me. You had the uns like right from the beginning. It definitely just felt like a Goose nightclub in Mexico, and I thought it was awesome. I don't know if it's like a one-off thing, but if they want to keep just like giving us a million versions of Slow Ready, then me and Alex will keep spending money on rebrand after rebrand, folks.
We need new stickers at
Yes.
least. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you make alternate uniforms.
Yeah,
That's
there
it.
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point about Goosemas. I wonder, like, which one did you guys think was better, the Goosemas version of Money Ready or this one?
I don't know if
Very different.
better is the word. They're just different, and like they're both really fun. Money Ready was just more of like going back and forth between the two in a unique way that we already knew.
Mm-hmm.
I like them going into a creative space and reimagining stuff like this that might be getting stale for some
Yeah.
of the older fans in the fan base who've heard these songs for years now. And I thought that the way that you hit the arpeggiator early on this one versus it being the jam, and then having the jam on this be a full like disco party, almost like what you'd expect to hear from like a cover that they do, like "Don't Leave Me This Way" or something, like a disco cover. It was like very cool to see that,
Mm-hmm.
like a totally different jam path than what you see on Slow Ready, which is usually like the beginning of what you heard from this version. So I really
Right.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I'd like to also just add in there that like this is kind of unique to Goose. Like, yes, jam bands switch things up all the time, but I remember D. James Goodwin talking with the Great Beyond folks on their podcast about like, yeah, jam bands definitely switch things up, but there's not really that many examples of a band switching up the actual structure of songs as much and as regularly as Goose does it. It's kind of unique to them, and I just think it's just so awesome that you never know what they're going to throw at you next with these songs.
Yeah.
I like that. Great variation.
Yeah, and it was such like a cool surprise highlight that it almost completely overshadows the fact that it was part of an Empress sandwich in a lot of ways. But like the Empress
Yeah.
stuff was sick too. Like the transitions between all the parts
Yeah.
was awesome. But this was just such like a whoa, like fan base kind of stopped in time for this for the rest of the night. I felt like, because it was like the talk of all of Blue Sky.
Yeah, that checks out. It was it was pretty wild. I'm telling you, the dance vibes were just like off the charts all weekend. And this might have been this and second set, night 3, I think, were probably the best
Oh my gosh.
dance vibes.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that insane night 3. We like almost ran out of space on our graphic that we do for the set list. It was like that good and full of twists.
Yeah.
But yeah, before we get into that, let's finish up talking about this Empress. It just went down to the wire again. They actually went past their allotted time on night 2 by like 15 minutes, I feel
Mhm.
like, if I remember right. Although with the stream issues that we had on night 1, it seemed like they were working on a delay for the stream for us versus what you were having go on down there. So it's hard to say, but it was at least like 10 minutes past the allotted set time that we finished the stream.
Yeah, for sure.
But then post-show gigs, night 2, we had Shamans, Dogs in a Pile, and then Tycho did a DJ set to close out the night. The main highlight from this was Rick and Peter joining Dogs in a Pile for the 2 songs you mentioned before. They played Boogie on Reggae Woman, the Stevie Wonder banger, and then they joined Dogs in a Pile for their encore of Trunk Rum, which is also a really like classic jam bandy vibe and a fun song to catch if you see Dogs. My local New Jersey guys. So did you catch this set, Nolan?
Oh, I did indeed. I caught this set. Yeah, I felt like there were going to be some cool sit-ins. After going to Eggy the first night, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be just like a constant theme. These late night sets, because what else does anyone have to do? That's what you're here for."
Right.
So yeah, we were like kind of on the side for this one. I think I sent you guys a video of the jam of this one too, maybe.
I think you did. I just couldn't snip it up quick enough. There's way too much going on.
Way too much. Yeah, no, I thought I hadn't seen Dogs in a Pile before. Had listened to some of their studio stuff, but yeah, I was like pleasantly surprised. They were really great. And then I thought it was really cool to have Rick and Peter both on it, and the guy on the keys for Dogs in a Pile, like him and Peter were killing it. I was super impressed by that guy. But yeah, it was really fun. Like, and everyone had like come over to watch the late night sets too. So like, guys from Eggy were watching the Dogs in a Pile show. I thought that was pretty neat when you see other artists just like supporting each other like that. That was cool. But yeah, that was big time. I didn't stay for the Tycho's set, but yeah, I mean, I think I got back at 3 a.m. again. So worth it. It was so much fun. I feel like that was like, I had fun each night, but like that night um, was memorable for sure.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And this is luckily one where you can listen to the soundboards of this guest spot of like anything that happened this weekend. Dogs and a Pal posted this stuff to Nugs already. So the Boogie on
Good.
Reggae Woman jam is awesome. It's awesome.
So good.
So
That was awesome. Oh yeah, who Jeremy from Pigeons.
mhm.
See the guitarist. He was there. Just like walked over with him. So that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Just everyone was hanging out, just like, drinking beers, cervezas, man. Very like laid back setup for a festival.
You met someone
Yeah,
else special on night
big
2
time.
though too. You haven't even brought this up yet.
I did get to see Rick, Mr. Materatanda, and oh gosh, Cotter and Eggy and Peter and everybody. So it was cool to it's cool to run into everybody like that. Yeah, big time. They're the nicest guys like ever. So
That's amazing.
vibes were great. Not good, great.
Oh my gosh. And Rick already knew you from the interview you guys did on corner of Gray Street, right? So
Yeah.
it's cool that he still recognized you. And
Yeah. No, that was cool. I was like, "Hey man, you're you just all of a sudden best friends with Dave now? What's up with that? You come on the podcast and now you're buddies with Dave Matthews? It's the Gray Street bump right there."
yeah, there you go.
Oh man, but it was cool. Very very laid back and yeah, really nice guys.
Incredible. So if we keep at this pace, we'll be staying up till 3 a.m. to record this podcast too. We'll just keep you on your schedule, man.
Yeah, let's do it.
But no, that caps off the night 2 highlights here. Seems like an incredible middle show and middle festival day for everyone who was there. And then we get into night 3. And the main pre-show event here was the Conscious Cacao ceremony pregame. That was at the Jetty at 12:30 p.m. You mentioned our folks at the Femme Flock. Shout out to them. They did an awesome interview with the Cacao Girls. Go check that out. And it was a really enlightening interview for me, at least. But Nolan, set the scene again, man. You were probably chilling by the pool, recovering. What time did you roll into the festival? Because you had a big acoustic set you had to hit, right?
Yes, we made it for the acoustic set at Round Rocks. That was at 3:45. Probably rolled up at 3:30 and kind of went to the side up on a little incline and just had a perfect view of of the whole thing. That was, I don't know, set wise. I think night 3 in general, day 3 we'll call it, was the best day. That acoustic set was awesome. You can't beat that. I feel like it was the new, like they could just start doing that, like kind of like in Radio City, they had those little acoustic sets before the show. They could kind of go like the DMB 2 sets route if they wanted to someday.
3 sets.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. 2 sets. No, that was like one of the highlights of the week for me, especially the Don't Think Twice, It's All Right, Bob Dylan with Sierra Hull was amazing.
Outstanding. Yeah, it was so cool to be able to listen back to this thanks to our buddy Garrett. He recorded on Mixler again. Guy's the MVP of hopping on doing the fan recordings for us. But the set was...
Is Garrett the DMB fan?
Yeah, Garn TD.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a big DMB guy too.
Yes, I met him. Yeah, great guy.
Yeah.
Finally got to meet him in person.
Yeah, he's good people, man. We always love to see Garrett. But yeah, great set. Short. I wish it was like a full acoustic show. Like, let's just get a fourth
Mm-hmm.
night acoustic. But we kicked it off with Me and My Uncle, and then Tumble, nicely arranged version of Tumble. Then I Would Die for
Mm-hmm.
You. You mentioned it. Don't Think Twice, It's All Right. Bob Dylan cover. And then Atlas, the Wood Brothers cover that we all know and love. And then ended off with Dim Lights and Flow Down, a flozer, baby. So you mentioned Don't Think Twice, It's All Right. Sierra Hull guessed it on that and Atlas. That was your main highlight. But anything else you want to shout out from this set here, Nolan?
I thought it was like a great crowd, very respectful crowd. Which you always wonder in like the acoustic setting, what's it gonna be like? Gonna be like these just absolute ruffians at Dave and Tim screaming the whole time, or are they gonna be quiet? They were quiet. A little bit of sing along during Tumble, I think. Vibey Tumble. That was great. But no, I think they nailed it. Like those are awesome songs to play in that setting. Um, Really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was interested to see if they were gonna do any repeats from the songs they were gonna play on their electric sets, but they did not, which
Mm.
is even cooler. Um, you mentioned Vibey Tumble. They rearranged the song in a cool way, starting off with like the instrumental riff that normally goes into the jam. I thought that was
Hmm.
really cool, and then Chill Relax Tumble that went to like a speedy finish. That was my main highlight, along with the Sierra Hull stuff, which let's just make her a permanent member of Acoustic Goose, I feel like, because she's incredible.
Oh yeah, man. Whew, she was on mandolin.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny at the end of "Don't Think Twice, It's All Right." She said, "She's like, I think I flubbed the lyrics there at the end, which is bad because I'm going on tour with Bob Dylan next week. Like, don't tell Bob." It's like all the Goose guys were like cracking up at that. That was funny. And I liked seeing Flow Down acoustic. That was cool and kind of was one of those you can like, oh, cross that off for tonight because that's, you know, they're not going to do that, and then hear the possibilities for tonight. And we're like, holy cow, there's so much on the table for
Mm-hmm.
tonight. This is going to be nuts. Yeah, then we left the acoustic set and went and saw Eggy on the main stage.
Boom. Yeah, good segue there. You went right into Eggy, and then
Hmm.
Andy Frasco in the UN right after them, and then La Lam after that, and then Goose. But if you want to talk Eggy, we can talk some Eggy, man. How was their second set?
Phenomenal. I mean, they brought it for the main stage. I don't have their set in front of me, but got another Laurel after seeing that in Raleigh a few weeks ago. Big fan of their new album, and then I think Brownstein just kind of showed everyone what he was made of toward the end of that Searchlight. Oh my gosh, he was just destroying that. I feel like if people hadn't seen or heard of Eggy before that, if they were in attendance, they were like pretty blown away by them. So that was like I wanted them to keep going, to be honest. But that was a great set. Two great Eggy sets in Cabo.
Oh yeah, and I'll just quickly shout it out. I've got it here. They played Sweaters for Strawman, Burritos El Chavo 2, Into a Moment's Notice, and then you mentioned it, Laurel, back into Burritos El Chavo 2, and then a Wayless into Searchlight, and then back into Wayless. Pretty cool set if you're an Eggy fan. If you're not, it's a great introduction set. I was
Hmm.
a big fan seeing this come through. I follow their live set lists on Blue Sky, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Um, but yeah, that was Eggy. Did you catch Andy Frasco? Because he's always a great time. Did you catch Alam? What'd you do the rest of the day before Goose?
uh, did not catch Frasco. I will say I want to add one more thing. While I think it was during Searchlight or towards the end, like you could tell people were like really interested in what was going on stage by especially because the other artists were like coming from out back to like come up and be like, oh my God, like Eggy's doing it. So several artists came like right by us on the rail to watch. And so Peter came out and was like, just like ran from the back. I was like, I got to see this. So that was cool when the artists are like, oh damn, I don't want to miss this. Like that's big time. But then after Eggy, we went back to regroup and get some dinner, and then made it back for Goose night 3.
All right. So let's get into it. All right. Since night 3 was your favorite, you got to read this one off, Nolan.
All right, let's do it. We got some nice sandwiches here after the Empress sandwich to end night 2. Pancakes into Hunger Sight, back into pancakes. California Magic, Butter Rum, Echo of a Rose, back into Butter Rum, and then Everything Must Go, set 1 closer. Feel It Now into Animal, into Dustin Hoffman, into 726, into Dripfield, and then How It Ends with an encore of Thatch. Not just Thatch, the Thatch.
Banger Thatch. And the first encore of the weekend, which is cool that they capped it off like that.
Yes.
So let's start at the beginning of set 1. You got a healthy stack of pancakes with a little Hunger Sight in the middle. How are you feeling after hearing this kind of crazy 30-ish minute, 35-ish minute long run here? What are your thoughts on this?
Oh, what a way to open the show. I'm a big pancakes fan. I feel like I saw one of the better ones last year in Raleigh. So yeah, pancakes, Hunger Sight. Picked Hunger Sight to open actually, so just missed it. But going back into pancakes was really cool. It's a couple of these you kind of forget. Like, what are they playing right now? What are they still playing the same song? And it's cool to bookend it like that. I like the sandwiches, the Goose sandwiches.
Yeah, and I saw people were referring to it as a club sandwich because of the multiple sandwiches in this set, which is just cracking me up. But you rarely expect to see 2 heavy hitters like pancakes and Hunger Sight like to start off a set. Like you'd think they'd save one to be like the set closer or something like. But really cool to see. This was more like pancakes got a little bit of jamming, but this was all about that Hunger Sight, in my opinion. And I thought it covered a ton of ground. Like Mike and I were texting, and it's like, this is funky, this is sinister, this is metal, this is like yeehaw, rockabilly, this is like Wheel of Fortune, roulette wheels going in all different directions. Like what genre is going to be, but it was really fun in the moment. And
oh yeah,
I can't wait to revisit.
It had it all.
Yeah, it was so cool. But then going back into pancakes and getting a little more of a jam to it was just awesome too. But I want to let Mike talk about this too, because we were both freaking out via text on this one too.
Yeah, no, I mean, you said it perfectly. That Hunger Sight was a journey that went like absolutely everywhere. And it's like you just pick a genre out of a hat and say that it's happening right now. And it's like, yeah, congratulations. You're right. It is. Because I mean, it was almost like schizophrenic how much we were bouncing around. And then adding on the pancakes jam at the end with a little bit of extra improv involved with that. Just this set is just absolutely like borderline impossible to comprehend everything that happened.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So you mentioned your mind being blown. We go into a little bit of a break and then get California Magic. A little more like the album version, I would say. It felt more slowed down, saloony vibes, even without the horns. I thought it was great, give everyone a breather a little bit, enjoy the vibes of California Magic, sing along. And then we go into Bada Bing Butter Rum, baby. It had to happen this weekend. And when they made it a sandwich. So how are you feeling about getting Bada Bing Butter Rum and seeing the guys sing it that way?
I was like, oh, of course they're playing Butter Rum. I've almost like forgotten about it. And I was like, okay, this is pretty funny the way they're singing it. And then Echo of a Rose, I'll take it at every show. It's so good. And then back into Butter Rum. I did not expect that. I don't think anybody did. I would actually, for a second, like to go back to California Magic, if that's okay,
Yeah.
because I got to shout out one guy. This dude was wearing a bunny hat, just like a big hat with bunny ears, just white and pink bunny ears. The whole weekend, this guy was dancing his ass off. The whole weekend, he was right by us the whole time. And night 1, night 2, vibing, going nuts. Same with night 3. And then as soon as the "Come on, let's chase the rabbit" line hits, he stops what he's doing, looks around, and just takes off sprinting. And people started chasing him. And we were like,
Incredible.
"Oh my God, this is the long game of all long games." Like he was waiting for this moment the whole week. This is his moment, and like maybe like 30 people saw it, but people were like trying to catch him. And they sing it like that line several times. He did it every single time. And I think one of the hardest I laughed all weekend.
Oh my gosh, that's a legend right there. I wish I knew this person's name. If anyone knows, give us a shout out. Slow Ready Pod. We'd love to.
The rabbit.
Love to give him a sticker at least.
Man, he was even at a Goose stick. He was wearing it, just baking in the sun.
Oh my gosh,
legend. So that was for sure a highlight. I couldn't stop laughing.
You sent us videos of him on night 1, and you're like, "This guy's the best," and we're like, "Yeah." Oh, amazing.
So good.
I'm so glad you told that story.
That was my favorite, man. What a guy. What'd you guys think of Butter Rum Echo? Butter Rum Sandwich.
I think Butter Rum is a song that Bada Bing Butter Rum is amazing in itself. It's obviously the best version of all time. But we've talked about Butter Rum getting some like really cool jams or transitions the last year or so, but they're always kind of short. We would love to see like a full on like type 2 Butter Rum sometime, but if we're not going to get it and we get a cool sandwich like this, I'm a big fan. And I thought the Echo was more of like an extension of the jam that they wanted to do on pancakes, and they just tacked it on the Echo, and it was just like, it was great. But it felt very like a pancakes jam to me. And shout out to our friend of the pod, Fran Cakes. Fran was messaging me the same thing. I was like, totally, this is 100% right. So
Fran Cakes.
Got to give her some credit on that. But yeah, great sandwich. Did not expect it to go back into Butter Rum, to your point. That was a nice surprise. And I think Mike and I were both texting that in the moment too. Like, how do we never see these sandwiches coming? Like, all of them. We're always like, oh my gosh, how did this happen? We should know by now.
Well, they just boom, they switch and they go back into it. Like, I feel like the thing I noticed the most during night 3, I was just like, these guys are like on such a different level of like connectivity, especially like as the set went on. I was like, I truly don't know how they're doing this right now. Like these are like truly top tier musicians.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is the Cotter effect. I think a lot of it is 4-piece Goose right now having a little more intimacy and the ability to like hear each other better and in that respect jam better. I'm curious to see if they stick to the 4-piece arrangement. I kind of hope they do, just to avoid some turbulence for a while and changes. Like, just keep the same lineup for a while and just let the haters not stop feasting for a minute. But I'm game to see whatever they want to do. But anyway, that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah. I mean, after this weekend, clearly the 4-piece Goose is working.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like it was filthy this weekend. Filthy.
Yeah. And I think it's only going to get better. Like, this night 3 was the first night of the 3-night run where I felt like you were hearing some of like the crazy improv that we heard on the winter tour, in my opinion. Like, it was like it hit like those peaks that we saw from the winter tour, but that's not to say the rest was bad. It was like more of like was just a different vibe. Like there was more of like
Mm-hmm.
you had the Gonzo vibe, but you had the Winter Tour vibe, and this kind of reminded me more of the Winter Tour a little bit in the way that they hit these like dark tinged crazy transitions, and I thought it was great. But anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about this Everything Must Go, because I thought it sounded a little more like the album version. I mean, you obviously don't have the drum track on it, but did you guys
Mm-hmm.
notice that at all? That it sounded a little more like the studio cut?
Yeah, for sure. I noticed that a lot with EMG and, like you said, California Magic. Like, definitely slowed down, stripped down a little bit. I thought it was a great way to end the first set. It was just like a beautiful song. I feel like maybe it gets a little bit of hate online sometimes because it's like too deep. But I'm like, no, this is like great. This is great songwriting. Like, especially as like a Dave guy, I'm like, this hits. Like they found Rick and Matt Campbell like really found something lyrically on this one. Shout out to Matt Campbell. Ran into him several times during the weekend. So just
Hell yeah,
another great guy.
another legend too. But
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think every song I can find a post somewhere is like this song stinks, like every set. But I try not to focus on the negativity too much.
Yeah. There's no negativity with Goose. Come on.
Yeah, and
Every song's great.
they were having a little too much fun with the sandwich party. I felt like this was a short EMG. I was hoping it would go into the territory where we saw in February, because those were like Jam of the Year quality EMGs.
Mm-hmm.
But this was nice. It's a good set closer, and a nice way to go into set break and then get into the set two that opened with Feel It Now into Animal into Dustin Hoffman to get a nice EMG, the studio album run going. So I'll let you go first on this set, Mike. What did you think of this opening run for set two? And then obviously Dustin Hoffman popping up for the first time being a huge highlight for everyone.
Yeah, so jumping back a little bit to what you guys said, I think with Feel It Now and all of the album tracks, I think that I got little pieces of Everything Must Go, the album, in all the live versions. I don't think that they took any like directly pointed at that same direction as the album, but there were just all these little touches. I even noticed it a bit in Lead Up. Lead Up didn't quite sound live like it usually does to me, but it also didn't sound quite like the album. It was a little bit in between, but I felt like this Feel It Now and Animal definitely took a little bit of that extra album energy into them, and I liked how both of those sounded a lot. And then Dustin Hoffman was my second favorite track from the album, and I think very similar to Iguana's song, just not taking it too far away from what we get on the album, and maybe not jamming it out as much as I'm going to predict that they will a couple months from now, but still just an absolutely excellent first effort. And this second set starts off with just the most energy. I thought that we had kind of peaked with the Butter Rum Echo over Rose Butter Rum, but not so.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Set two was ludicrous. Nolan, what'd you think about this opening 3 songs, the EMG run to start this thing off?
I mean, agree with everything Mike said. This is where like the dance party, like the whole second set, was just everyone was going nuts. And I mean, I feel like Feel It Now is a favorite of a lot of people on the new album. Um, I think the guys, like where we were standing, you could see them when they would come from like backstage to get on stage, and we're like waiting around for them to come up, and like they were like, you could tell you were like, oh, they're like vibing right now, like very loose. Um, yeah, I think they were. I was like, this is about to be like a something special, just based on like body language, and like they were, just like feeling the house music. Like, okay, they knew they were about to do it, and I mean these segues are nuts. But Animal also, I feel like maybe we got some of the best like studio songs from EMG in this show, because Animal is amazing on the album, and just big time dance party out of Feel It Now, and then into Hoffman. Everyone we talked to like wanted to see Hoffman and Iguana. Those were like the big ones for the weekend. So it was like scratch those off the bingo card. and then into 726 into Dripfield, like
Right.
silly. Like 726 is your cooldown song. Like, okay, like that's great. Thank you.
726, I feel like, is the perfect song to come out of Hoffman, the way it ends, at least from like the studio version, the way that this live version or live debut ended too. Absolute perfection. And then obviously you got to get the run into Dripfield to keep things like peak. But I want to backtrack a little bit to the start of the set here real quick, because Mike and I were talking about Feel It Now. That was such like a Jeff heavy bongo song, and now it's like with the 4-piece, it's more of like a Cotter hi-hat party, and that's given the song like a different feel that's almost made it like somehow dancier when you see these versions that they've been playing lately, at least for me. And it's just it's really cool to just see them like take this song that was percussion heavy and just still crush it. Animal is now a Bliss Jam vehicle apparently, so let's keep at it. Also, please. I cannot wait for them to get some horns to play the horny versions of these songs. I've been calling them the horny versions because everyone's waiting and horny for them to come out with the horns. And then Dustin Hoffman, man, just a banger. I thought they crushed it. Once again, stuck true to like the length and the style of the album, and the possibilities are endless on this one too. But you know, with how much they wanted to squeeze into this set, obviously, the transition into 726 and then another outstanding version of Dripfield here was the right call. So let's get into that. I mean, obviously 726, gorgeous. Would love to see a version of it where they jam it out like they did on that Goose Miss bonus tape that we all got from the bingo winners. But this Dripfield, man, this was another very special jam in my opinion. Any thoughts on it, Nolan?
Many thoughts on Dripfield. Think it's their best song. The studio track, unbelievable. I love the segue into 726. 726 into Dripfield. As a Dave guy, the segues we love them, right? Segues are the best. And then it's like Nancy's Warehouse. This is 726 in a Dripfield. You think it's going to close the show, but no, not quite. There's a part of me that I felt like they might be. I don't know if it's like I don't know. It sounds a little bit like Animal at the beginning, like a dun, 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 the way they started. It's like more rock version than like on the album now, right? And I don't know. I thought everyone was like, there's some good headbanging going on for this one, like very appropriate. Like sometimes you're like, all right, relax. Like they're not jamming that hard right now. Like we don't need a headbang to this. But Dripfield was like, oh my God. Like, yeah, let it all out. And then I thought the show was gonna end there, and I was mistaken.
No, you were mistaken for sure. And it was an interesting call to your point, because that was a really like heavy tribal jam that like continues like the tribal drums from like the main portion of the song and just like took it to like an 11. And yeah, I thought it was going to end there too, but no, we got How It Ends after that. But I want to let Mike real quick shout out any thoughts on Dripfield if he has them.
Yeah, I can just be brief because you guys said it really well, but I really do feel like since Cotter joined the band, and maybe even more specifically since the Greek Dripfield, it's more often than not has had at least an industrial rock sounding section to it. Sometimes it stretches out to be like the majority of the jam. Other times it just ends up being like section 1 and part of section 2. But I think this is like kind of the happiest place for Dripfield improv to be at is kind of with that industrial feel. And obviously once Cotter gets going, it's like absolutely like Thor levels of thunder. So I'm for Dripfield kind of inhabiting this space semi-permanently.
Well said, man. I'm totally here for it. And in almost every situation, I would have loved for this to be the set closer, but I'm also thrilled How It Ends is back. And I thought it sounded so good, even compared to the version from last year. So like good. They like fleshed it out and it sounds terrific. But yeah, I want to hear y'all's thoughts on it. How about you go first this time, Mike, since we've been doing a lot of talking?
Yeah, no, I was so excited. Obviously, I had How It Ends from the album really high up my hasty rankings. I thought that they absolutely just added so many more layers to it. I mean, I liked what I heard from the Cap Theater last year, but it just sounded more like it was still closer to the idea stage than it was a fully formed song. And the album version just kind of totally shook that up for me, and wasn't sure obviously what we were going to get in a live setting, but it sounds like they captured all that extra depth and all the extra layers from the album and translated it here onto the stage absolutely perfectly. So this was another huge sleeper highlight from the weekend. I didn't feel like I saw as many people talking about it on like Blue Sky and stuff like that, but they just really absolutely crushed this for me.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it was a really interesting call to, I mean, you ended, and this is like a song that doesn't have the vibe of necessarily ending on like a droning ending that you'd normally expect to see with like a song like Thatch, which came up in the encore. But they did make that choice to kind of create that tension to go into this encore break. And man, Mike was texting me like, this has to be Factory Fiction, right? We're going to riot if it's not Factory Fiction. And then it winds up being his favorite song, Thatch. And he's like, never mind, I lied. This is better. And
had to take it back immediately.
Boy, was that a Thatch. Like, I don't want to be hasty on it, but like, is this the GOAT version? Because it was just incredible. But I want to hear Nolan's thoughts on this, because obviously this is a highlight of the weekend, and you were there, man.
Yeah, no, it's got to be the GOAT version. I mean, it was insane. Starts out with the was it Rick's guitar or Peter that was looping during the encore break?
It was Rick.
You guys know? I couldn't.
It was
okay.
Because I saw him like he was like messing with the pedal board and setting up a loop. It looked like.
Okay, that's what I thought. That was cool. Great build up. And then to come back out, I mean, that kind of reminded me of like some Tim Reynolds type stuff.
Okay.
More of like at the end of the show, Tim does it, but like for the encore break, that was awesome. And then, I mean, Thatch place went nuts when they started Thatch. My buddy Dylan's favorite song as well. He was like, God, please be Thatch. It was. Everyone, I mean, place was just going nuts. And I thought one of the coolest parts about this Thatch was the way that like when they started jamming, they just like fogged out the whole stage.
Nice.
Like couldn't see anything. And then you're like, okay, I guess it's gonna like start wrapping up, and then fog goes away, and they just took it to like level after level after level. I don't know how many peaks they hit. I feel like we just lost track, but it had to be like 8. Like they just kept going. I don't know. It was nuts. You're just like, oh my God, there's no way they're going to take it up one more notch. And they did. No, everyone at the end of that was just like blown away. Like I think I just stopped dancing. And one was just jaw dropped, just like, oh my God, they're doing it.
Yeah. And it was like a sample platter of glory. And that's what you get when you get like a peak dark Goose jam like this, but also all these other like flavors mixed in. But I want to let Mike geek out about this one because Thatch is his song, and I know he's pumped to talk about this.
Well, I mean, he said so much of what I would want to say anyways. It's a very epic Thatch. Is it the best Thatch? It very well could be. I'd have to listen to some of my other ones again to be positive. I don't think it's my favorite, but it was cool to see Thatch in a rather new dimension where they were starting to take it to more of the spaces that like Madhavan and EMG, like you said, Alex, earlier, where we were at in Milwaukee and Grand Rapids. Like a lot of that darker improv showed up here in the Thatch, and I hadn't really experienced that with Thatch before. So you get all the best parts of the energy of the song proper, and then the thrill of like some new improv coming out of it too. I can't think of a more appropriate and more electric closer capper to the weekend. And if I was there, I probably would have just been throwing things in every direction. So, yeah.
Like your underwear on stage or like what?
Just you name it. Probably yes.
Oh, man.
To your point, Mike, I think it depends on like your flavor of Goose that you like. If you're going to I can't make up my mind on this Thatch, but if you're a big Dark Goose fan, like this is the dark version of Thatch, and it's outstanding. And it really reminded me of the Madhuvan from Grand Rapids or the EMG from Milwaukee. It had very similar vibes, very unhinged, like speedy dissonance. I want to. It's like how I wanted to say it was like these like blistering runs, and it was just like haunting. And then Trevor once again was a monster on this, along with Cotter. Obviously, I can't say enough nice things about Cotter. I feel like people tell me to shut up talking about drums so much on this podcast, but Cotter's just a beast, and he's going full Joe Russo in my opinion on this song. So he crushed it on this Thatch. He was just flailing around in he hit every possible drum you could possibly hit on stage for 4 people. It felt like so. Just thought it was an incredible Thatch and a great way to end the weekend, and hit it on an EMG note to highlight the new album too. And it must have been an amazing crowd response to that. We couldn't really get insight into that, Nolan, but that must have been an awesome pop off.
Oh yeah, I mean, each guy was just like shining during that jam, but I feel like the Cotter and Rick interplay was just like, I mean, that was part of my jaw dropping during this. Was like they're just like just a living, breathing giant organism on stage. Like each one knows exactly what is happening next. They're all on the same page. And I know that's like what jam bands are, but like to see them going that ham with it was wild. All while Cotter is in a just incredible outfit, just got the vest on and everything, just killing it. I think on a new drum kit too. Like he was a savage. That thing, in the moment, and I don't want to be like the hot take guy, but I was like, I think that's the best like performance of anything that I've seen.
Hey,
and like this show in general like stacks up there with like, I mean, a couple other Goose shows, but like all time for me, this night 3 was up there. Like DMB MSG night 2 23 type stuff. A couple of the DMB 2013 shows.
Deep
like
cuts.
This one was that I've been to. This one was money.
Okay. So if you had to rank the 3 nights, let's get hasty here real quick. How would you rank them?
I'd go probably reverse order.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
I think I'm with you on that.
Yeah. I mean, the second set, night 3, is just kind of bananas.
It just looks like an incredible weekend. Like the amount of unique jams you got, surprising moments. Like just we had so much FOMO, man, and we're so glad that you and so many of our other friends got to experience such an amazing event because it just looked incredible. But Mike and I were crying together.
It was well. You know what? I think they'll do it again. So you guys gotta go. It sounded like it at the end, but it seemed like a good turnout, and I think everyone had a blast. So I'd be shocked if this wasn't a thing going forward.
I hope so, but man, based off of like, obviously people were like doom and gloom about the attendance about this before the event. It wound up looked like pretty well attended. Like with Goose's trajectory, like I don't know how you can keep it on the same grounds if they continue to blow up like this, and like unless there was plenty of space. If you, from your perspective, Nolan.
Yeah, I think there was plenty of space. I think they can. Seemed like there were like maybe 3,000 people there.
Okay.
So they got plenty of space, I would think.
It's good to know.
And to grow it, yeah, for you guys to go.
Well, yeah, we can't miss it now.
Next year. Yeah, automatic.
It's a can't miss. It's the best event I've ever been to, like music event, bar none. Like it was done so well for a first year doing it. Like kudos to all of them. Like pretty flawless.
That's all we heard all weekend from folks was like, obviously there was a few people making complaints online, but for the most part, everyone was saying best festival I've ever been to, best event. And we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about the last few acts before we get into like high level strokes here. But after the Goose show, just a few more gigs to cap things off. The El Gonzo Collective played right after Goose's set. It seemed like, from all accounts, Rick somehow teleported from the stage from Thatch to be on with El Gonzo Collective because he beat everyone there, apparently. And then Pigeons playing ping pong played a late night set right after that. Apparently, they completely crushed too. And then DJ Marmenthal's Baby closed out the festival. Played till 3:15 a.m. DJ till 3:15 a.m. Apparently throwing out signed packs of Marps. So, did you catch any of that, Nolan?
I did not. I was cooked, absolutely fried, and no, I think Peter sat in with Pigeons, and then Peter toward the front, and Rick toward the back. I think.
I couldn't catch any of this, so I only saw Rick, but maybe Peter too. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Peter did as well, and then I thought it was what a cool way to end it with like a bunch of the band members and crew on stage with DJ Marb. That was awesome, like a perfect way to cap it all off. Yeah, big time stuff.
All right. So with that wraps up our initial coverage of Viva el Gonzo. It seemed like an incredible event, to your point. And you think you'll be heading back if they do it next year, Nolan?
I think so. Yeah. I think the wives had a good enough time. They'll let us go back. So, yeah, I think it's in the cards.
All right. Well, there you go. Nice to hear that it met expectations, exceeded expectations, and that that you want to go back. That's all you want to hear.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm in. We'll have to, maybe we could do a pod episode from there next year.
Oh, that
would be sick.
So we like to wrap up with our guests with some rapid fire questions. We had some El Gonzo rapid fire. You pretty much answered all of them, so I think we're just going to go on to the fun ones here.
Sorry.
Don't be.
No, it's a great job.
Don't be sorry. It's awesome. But let's get into our normal rapid fire with Nolan here. Favorite Goose song?
Ooh, Drip.
Okay.
I'll go with Drip.
Favorite show you've ever attended, Goose or otherwise?
Goose or otherwise? Paul McCartney, 2009, grand opening of Citi Field.
Okay. Wow. What a pull.
An all-timer. Yeah, an all-timer.
All right. What's your favorite Goose jam of all time?
Jeez, Goose jam of all time. I might have to go with this Thatch. I was talking it up so much.
Okay.
Maybe I'll, yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Why not? I was at the Madavon 2022 in Raleigh. That was definitely a memorable one too. So, yeah.
I listened to that the other day.
That's a great one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then favorite musician band. I think I might know.
Wow. Kind of put me in a tough spot here with the Dave Matthews podcast guy.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, it feels like you have to answer that, right? You don't, though. There's no rules on this pod.
We'll give you my top three. I go in no order: Beatles, Dave, and Goose.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite concert venue?
Gonzo.
Wow.
Gonzo.
Yeah, he said it earlier too. He's consistent.
I'm sold. Gonzo and the Gorge.
Boom.
I love it.
West Coast, man.
Do you have a big Chase song for Goose?
Big Chase song.
It could be a cover, I guess, with them too.
Ooh. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think. I was thinking about it this weekend. I completed Everything Must Go this weekend. Mm-hmm. So that was nice. Yes. Factory Fiction and Wisteria Lane. Haven't seen them.
Oh my gosh. No Wisteria still?
I know. Still no.
You're a machine gun with shows too.
I have no Wisteria as well, so I'm with you.
Let's get these boys.
Dude, I went like 30 shows, DMB shows, without seeing What Would You Say. It was so weird. Like, what is happening?
That seems borderline impossible.
I know.
That happened to me with Crash Into Me, Nolan. It was like
Did
It's
it?
like 20 shows. Their biggest song. Anyway,
It's ridiculous.
that's a story for another podcast.
Yeah.
What's the first album you ever bought yourself?
Hootie and the Blowfish, Cracked Rear View.
There you go.
Nice.
Banger.
That's so
it
90s.
was, yeah. And a capsule in time right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the cassette, not the CD. It was the cassette.
Oh, even better.
Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have a go-to karaoke song?
Hey Jude.
Okay.
Oh, that's great.
Oh yeah.
What's a band or artist that's on your bucket list still?
Oh man, this one hurts. Pearl Jam. They're playing in Raleigh. Well, this time tomorrow from when we're recording, playing in Raleigh, and yeah, I don't think I'm gonna make it. I keep missing them. I just keep missing them all the time. I was gonna see them 2017 or 16 when the Bathroom Bill, they canceled their North Carolina shows because of the HB2. So yeah, dagger. But I'd love to see Eddie and Pearl Jam.
I'm gonna root for you to go tomorrow at the time of this recording. We'll follow up.
Yeah, I'll keep you updated.
I think this is a new question for the pod, but you wake up inspired tomorrow to start a Goose cover band. What are you naming the band, and what instrument are you rocking?
Oh my gosh, name and instrument?
Yeah.
I could add some flavor on a tambourine.
Okay.
How about the name? I don't know about the name. That's a tough one. I have to think about that one. What do you guys? What would yours be?
We don't have to answer the rapid fire question, so.
Damn it.
Flock of seagulls.
Flock of seagulls.
Flock of seagulls. How about my wife would probably say, how about Rick's Arms?
Rick's Arms.
Yeah. Rick's Arms.
That actually works pretty
There's
well.
the one cover band
Sleeveless.
out there, Peter's Mustache. I saw they played a gig in Pittsburgh, which is just incredible. It's a great name.
I think I met one of the guys from Peter's Mustache this
That's
weekend.
what inspired the. Honestly.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, Rick's Arms.
I love it.
Oh man.
Sleeveless Rick on night 3. Backwards hat Rick on night 2.
Boom.
Forget
There
about
you
it.
go. All right. We've tried this question a million times. It's always the same answer. We're up in the number. Would you rather fight one elephant-sized goose or 200 goose-sized elephants?
200 is a lot.
They can get mean.
We had 100 last time, and everyone still picks the goose-sized elephant, so I had to up the ante.
I go goose size or elephant sized goose.
You want one elephant-sized?
Or goose size
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
elephant sized goose.
You are a brave man. You're the first one to answer that.
So 200 is the number,
200 is the
Alex,
number, apparently.
I guess.
I'm ready.
All right, so that's our breaking point. Which member of Goose would you trust the most to babysit for you, and which one would you trust the least?
Oh wow. I would trust.
You know them all now too, so think carefully.
I know. Ooh. How about trust Peter? Yeah.
That's always the answer.
Solid.
Yeah, I trust Pete.
Yeah.
And I won't answer the other one. I'll just trust Pete.
No comment.
All right,
No
this
comment.
might play off of this one. The members of Goose all decided they hate each other. They go into the gladiator ring to fight to the death. Who wins and why?
Oh man. Who wins?
For glory.
For glory? I think Trevor wins. It's always the quiet ones. Yeah. It's the quiet ones.
Logic there.
Yeah, he's savvy.
I might change my answer too, by the way, for the who would babysit. Coach. I think Coach.
Okay. He is.
Yeah.
He is a member of Goose.
He's a member.
Counts.
Yeah. Coach gets the nod.
If we're talking staff, like I feel like you have to go with Sam. She's like by far the responsible one in all the vlogs.
Very responsible.
All right. Well, that's it for this edition of Rapid Fire, but wanted to give you a chance to plug any of your pages or your podcast or whatever you want to talk about. The floor is yours, buddy.
Oh, thanks. Thank you for having me on this marathon Viva episode. Yeah. So Nolan, I'm one half of the Corner of Gray Street podcast. Me and my good buddy Bruce, who also loves Goose, who got me into Goose. Yeah, at Gray Street Pod. If you have any questions, graystreetpod@gmail.com. Follow us on the socials. We're an Osiris podcast. We talk about Dave, and then we try and throw in a little bit of Goose at the end of every episode, just because we're sickos for him. But yeah, that's it. Gray Street Pod.
And they really do talk a lot of Goose in the best kind of way. Corner of Gray Street and Wisteria Lane is going to be the name change. They're doing a rebrand too.
That's right. Yeah, big rebrand.
But Nolan, you're awesome, man. And the Gray Street podcast is awesome. If you have not somehow checked out their interview with Rick from last year, just before Soulshine, that is an outstanding interview.
Well, thanks.
And thanks for hopping on, man. Thanks for being so generous with your time. This was a long one.
No, of
Seriously,
course.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. This was the best.
All right. Well, with that, let's wrap this thing up. Thanks for listening, everybody. Take care.